announcement.
Yes, Honourable Prime
Madam
Minister.
Speaker, it is with sadness that we learned of the demise of Mr. Marie-Cyril Eddy Boissaison, former Vice President of the Republic, Minister and Member of Parliament, who passed away on the 1st of November of this year at the age of 73. Mr. Boissaison was born on the 28th of March 1952 in Bellon. He did his primary schooling at the Visitation RCA School and his secondary education at the Saint-Joseph College in Cupid. He earned 3 diplomas in purchasing and supply, management and business practice, and went on to earn a bachelor's degree in business management from the University of Leeds in England. Mr. Boissaison had a distinguished professional career in the private sector, holding numerous positions. He served as an accounts teacher at Saint-Joseph College, a bank officer at Barclays Bank International Limited, and later as purchasing and supply manager at Scott & Company Limited, and then human resource manager at Rogers Food Cluster. He was also an executive director of Atix & Company Limited and a member of and logistics consultant at the Rogers Group Pension Scheme. Madam Speaker, Mr. Boissaison's political career started in 1991 when he was elected as municipal councillor and subsequently became deputy mayor of the town of Vaqua Phoenix, a position he held until 1993. In 1995, he stood for the National Assembly elections for constituency number 12 under the banner of the Alliance Parti Travailliste MMM, and he was returned as second member. He then contested the 2005 National Assembly elections in the same constituency, that is Mayberg-Plaine-Maillan, under the banner of the Alliance MSM-MMM, but he was not returned. In December 2014, Mr. Boissaison ran for the National Assembly elections for constituency number 15, La Carvée-en-Phoenix, under the banner of l'Alliance Le Peuple. He was elected as third member of the said constituency. He was appointed Parliamentary Private Secretary in December 2014, and in January 2017, he was appointed Minister of Civil Service and Administrative Reforms, a position which he held until 2019. In 2019, Mr. Boissaison stood as the candidate of the l'Alliance Mauricienne at the National Assembly elections in constituency number 17, Cupid Midlands, but he was not elected. On the 2nd of December 2019, he was elected Vice President of the Republic of Mauritius by the National Assembly. He was also elevated to the rank of Grand Officer of the Order of the Star and Key of the Indian Ocean on the same day. In 2022, he was conferred the Visionary Award for the Chinatown Foundation. Madam Speaker, Mr. Boissaison will be remembered as a highly respected gentleman with a profound sense of humility. He entertained a very close relationship with friends, regardless of their political affiliation. May I request you, Madam Speaker, to kindly direct the Clerk of the National Assembly to convey the deep condolences of the Assembly to his wife, his children, and all those afflicted by the passing away.
Yes, Deputy Speaker.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I join
Deputy
with
Prime
what
Minister. I'm sorry.
I join with the Prime Minister. We have all lost a very, very nice human being, and it is with real grief that we say the best courage that they can find to his wife, his widow, and his children. Thank you.
Thank you. Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On behalf of the opposition, Madam Speaker, I wish to associate myself to the tribute paid by the Honourable Prime Minister to late Mr. Eddy Boissaison, former Vice President of our Republic, whom I have known personally when he was a member of this National Assembly and serving the country as PPS and then Minister. He was a committed person and he served our country with dignity and honor. Despite his stature, he never lost a common touch. He had a gift to connect to people, and he had a way to make people feel feel special, Madam Speaker. He left us with the same dignity and honor. Madam Speaker, may I request you to direct the Clerk of the National Assembly to convey our deep condolences to the bereaved family. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honourable members, I associate myself with the tribute paid to the memory of the late Marie-Cécile Eddy Boissezon, former Vice President of the Republic and former Member of Parliament, by the Honourable Prime Minister, the Honourable Deputy Prime Minister, and the Honourable Leader of the Opposition, and I direct the Clerk to convey the deep condolences of the Assembly to the bereaved family.
Papers have been laid. Questions?
Yes, Honourable Leader of the Opposition, your private notice question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I've given notice of the following private notice question addressed to Dr. the Honourable Prime Minister, Minister of Defence, Home Affairs and External Communications, Minister of Finance, Minister for Rodrigues and Outer Islands. Whether in regard to the charter flight of Trans-Ocean Airways from Madagascar, which landed at the Sersiu Sagar Ramgulam International Airport on the 12th October 2025, he will, for the benefit of the House, obtain from A, the Commission of Police and the Financial Crimes Commission information as to whether any inquiry has been initiated thereinto, and if so, indicate the outcome thereof and who has been interrogated as at to date, and B, Airport Holdings Limited, the names of the chairperson and members of the board of Jet Prime Limited, indicating in each case the allowances and benefits drawn, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Your Honourable Prime Minister.
Yes, Madam Speaker. I wish to refer the Honourable Leader of the Opposition to my reply to private notice question on the 28th of October 2025, wherein I informed the House of the circumstances in which the unscheduled private flight, not a charter flight as mentioned by the Honourable Leader of the Opposition, of Trans-Ocean Airways from Madagascar has been authorized to land in Mauritius on the 12th of October 2025. A copy of the report of the Secretary of the Cabinet and Head of the Civil Service was dated the 14th of October 2025, was tabled during that private notice question. Madam Speaker, as regards to Part A of the question, the police started an inquiry into the circumstances that led to the landing of the private jet immediately after the publication of the report of the Secretary of the Cabinet and Head of the Civil Service. I'm informed by the Commissioner of Police that so far 37 persons from all parties and institutions concerned have been interrogated and 52 statements were taken from them. These include Jet Prime Limited, the Department of Civil Aviation, the Customs Department of the Mauritius Revenue Authority, the Passport and Immigration Office, the police, the Airports and Mauritius Company Limited, and the staff of the Prime Minister's Office. The inquiry has reached a critical stage, and the Honourable Member would appreciate that it would not be in the interest of the efficient and proper conduct of the investigation for the names of each person interviewed to be divulged. These statements have been taken over a period of less than 1 month under the supervision of the Deputy Commissioner of Police for Crime. Without prejudice to the eventual outcome of the inquiry, as I have stated before, it is clear that this was a pre-planned operation involving several people, both at the level of Jet Prime Limited and some private operators. I'm informed that on the 13th of October 2025, the Financial Crimes Commission initiated an investigation on the arrival of the private jet belonging to Zodiac Group on the 12th of October 2025 at the SSR International Airport. Between the 13th of October to the 19th of October 2025, the statement of 3 Malagasy nationals were recorded, wherein they explained the existence of state capture for the past 10 years, which benefited a few persons from the previous Malagasy government, including Mr. Mami Rabatumanga. The issues that are also being investigated relate to rosewood, wheat and milling, lychee, acquisition of 5 Boeing aircraft which were sent to Iran. and also traffic d'influence and breach of confidentiality which surfaced during the current investigation. I'm further informed that the FCC has interviewed 25 witnesses and suspects so far, and 4 persons have been arrested, provisionally charged, namely Mr. Rabatomanga, Mr. J.T. Thomas, Mr. Biki, and Mr. Fakim. The FCC is also collaborating with other countries, namely Madagascar, United States of America, and France, which are also conducting related investigations. With regard to Part B of the question, it would be opportune to inform the House of the circumstances in which Jet Prime Limited had been created. The previous government had systematically attempted to undermine the functioning of YU Lounge run by Mr. Nirvan Virasamy, incorporated as Business Jet Services Limited in August 2004, and having as the nature of business the setting up of an aircraft maintenance organization. In July 2021, the then government redefined the points of entry into Mauritius and excluded YU Lounge at the point of entry, hence destroying the economic value of the business, resulting in important losses to the company. Finally, YU Lounge was sold to Airports Holding Limited in April 2022. A few months later, in August 2022, Jet Prime Limited was designated as point of entry. In April 2022, AHL acquired 100% shareholding in YU Lounge Mauritius Limited and renamed it as Jet Prime Limited on the 18th of May 2022, with continuity in its functioning being maintained. I should mention that the current Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Dewanda Chalen, was appointed by the previous government in June 2024 for a contractual period of 3 years, despite the fact that his employment as Deputy Chief Executive Officer of Airports of Mauritius Company Limited, a subsidiary of AHL, was terminated on the grounds of breach of trust. Madam Speaker, I'm informed by AHL that on the 4th of September 2025, its shareholders decided to fill in the existing vacancies in the board membership of Jet Prime Limited on a purely temporary basis and without any remuneration. This was intended to be for an approximate period of 2 months, pending the restructuring of AHL and to attend to matters that had remained unattended due to the absence of a fully constituted board. The temporary board of Jet Prime Limited was composed of as follows: Mr. Chairperson, Mr. Apalsamy Thomas; Directors, Mr. Dhiren Kumar Debi, Mrs. Kantabai Babaji, Mr. Marie-Gérard Gilbert Noël, and Mr. Keshav Ritu. I'm further informed that Mr. Noël resigned on the 24th of October 2025. Madam Speaker, at its meeting of the 17th of October 2025, Cabinet decided that the procedures of the operation of private jets by the Department of Civil Aviation are being reviewed in view of the new non-routine challenges that the civil aviation is encountering. The operations of Jet Prime Limited are also being reviewed. Such review will be carried out at the level of the holding company. Madam Speaker, I wish to reassure the House that under no circumstances will there be any cover-up, either in this or any other investigation since this government came to power.
Thank you. Supplementary question, Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. With regard to the reply that the Honourable Prime Minister has given to the House concerning Jet Prime Limited, can the Honourable Prime Minister inform the House on what basis Mr. Gilbert Noël has been nominated as board member of Airports Holding Limited, of Jet Prime Limited, and Mauritius Helicopter Limited?
He was nominated as a member. Pending is looking at his qualifications, as you know, what his qualifications are, and I think he had applied for the job, and he was appointed. But as I said, he resigned after this issue.
Yes. Second
Yes.
question.
Madam Speaker, can you put some order in this House so that I can put my questions quietly?
Will you allow the Honourable Leader of the Opposition to put his question, please? It's best for everyone. No, Mr. Duval, Honourable Duval, don't do that. I'm the one leading.
Madam Speaker,
I am the speaker today. Yeah, of course you did. I saw you. Will you? Can we get on with the PNQ, please? Honourable Leader of the Opposition, you have the floor. You have the floor. Shoot.
Madam Speaker, can I ask the Honourable Prime Minister? He stated that Mr. Noel has submitted his resignation. Will he inform the House why up to now the rest of the board is still in place while there is an inquiry on them? Has there, Madam Speaker, been any legal actions taken against members of Jet Prime Limited until now?
I explained this is a temporary board
Yes.
which was set up. Yes, but what, you want to have no board there? You need to have a board. You cannot run the company without a board. No, this is a temporary board, and you've seen the names I've given you, former, and they're not being paid any cent, any money, and also they're just there temporarily to make sure that things go on.
Let the Prime Minister speak, Mr. Jaman.
Madam Speaker, it's not a question of they are not being paid any money. Madam Speaker, Annex 1 of the report tabled by the Honourable Prime Minister 2 weeks ago, that is on 28th October, mentioned the departure of the aircraft, that is the private jet, on the 11th of November, which is today. Is this still the case? And in the same vein, can the Honourable Prime Minister inform the House whether the pilot has already left the country?
I
Okay.
had explained all this last time, Madam Speaker. I don't know, you asked the question yourself. The captain of the aircraft was allowed to leave just after, and then the second pilot, the officer, was allowed to leave.
Yeah, but the Honourable Prime Minister stated also that there will be an inquiry. He has already left the country.
There is an inquiry. He has already been questioned, and there's nothing. You should realize that it is the captain of the aircraft who is in charge of the aircraft. The second pilot just does his job.
Madam Speaker, one of the passengers of that private jet was Mr. Mami Ravatomanga. And we all know that there is an ongoing investigation at the FCC against that person. Can the Honourable Prime Minister confirm to the House if there was a meeting between an advisor to the office of the Deputy Prime Minister and one Mr. Biki?
I must say, these days, people to get out of their positions, they say anything. We have to go by evidence and proof. Anybody can say anything. Any nonsense. So we have to look. An inquiry is going on. Let it do its job.
Now, can I ask the Honourable Prime Minister, this he must be knowing, whether there was a meeting between a minister of his cabinet with Mr. Biki?
It is an absolutely false statement that being propagated by people who think they get a chance, if they get a chance tomorrow, to come back into government. They will not. These are many false statements are being made. Many false statements on Facebook, on this and that. And we are looking into that. I'm getting the help from India. I mentioned it, I think, the other day. And we will reach the bottom of all this.
Speaker, a statement was made in court yesterday by that Mr. Biki. And he made reference to a sum of 350 million in this particular scandal. Is the Prime Minister aware of that?
I again said to the Honourable Leader of the Opposition, any person says anything, so I have to go and check. There is an inquiry going on. Let the inquiry find out. All this is untrue, but let the inquiry find out.
Another question, or was that, yes?
A lot of questions today, Madam Speaker. Will the Honourable Prime Minister give the assurance to this House that no member of his government, and especially no junior minister, was involved in the pre-planned mission to bring Mr. MR to safety to Mauritius?
I've said it before and I say it again, Madam Speaker. Anybody who is involved in any way will have to pay the consequences. I'm not sparing anyone. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. You mentioned all these money, suppose that is transaction. Look at the proof of the pudding is in the eating. What has happened to him? If the MSM was in power, he would have left the country already. He would have left the country already. We are also looking, for your information, we are also looking how we invested billions of rupees. Which government was in power? Who didn't do there? You see the MSM criticizing him? Never. They try to find people in our side, but they never criticize this gentleman. Look at how much money he invested during their tenure. Who did the due diligence? We will find out.
Madam Speaker, all started in 2009. Madam Speaker, one of the main figures in this saga is the officer in charge of the FCC. Can the Honourable Prime Minister inform the House if he recommended the renewal of the actingship of Mr. Dewdari for a further period of 9 months, and if so, when was that done?
Well, I can't say exactly when, but I did recommend, yes.
You did recommend. And my second question related to the same issue. When that was done, the Honourable Prime Minister was not in the country. Can the Honourable Prime Minister inform the House whether the Deputy Prime Minister, who was the acting Prime Minister at that time, was informed of the renewal of the contract of Mr. Dewdari?
We work as a government. I'm sure everybody knows what we are doing.
Can the Honourable Prime Minister state to the House whether there was a public notice issued by the State House when that contract was renewed?
I would love to ask the State House whether they publish, but they have to approve of the nomination. They have to approve of the nomination.
What do you say? Don't ask the question, make an affirmation.
Can the Honourable Prime Minister confirm to this House if the officer in charge of the FCC has been interrogated by the Central CID? And if yes, why?
I'm not going to go into who interrogates who, but there must be a reason to interrogate somebody. There must be a reason.
Madam Speaker, can I ask the Prime Minister to confirm to this House whether with regard to the Commissioner who resigned from his position at the FCC, that is Mr. JF, whether he is in presence of an information on a suspicious transaction on the personal bank account of that person?
This is throwing bad shame. There is an inquiry. So anybody says anything, that is the truth? That is the Bible? No. Let the inquiry find out.
If there is an inquiry ongoing, can the Honourable Prime Minister tell the House? Because I put that question last time. The chairperson of the CEB was allegedly present in that infamous meeting. Can he inform the House whether that person has been asked to resign pending the outcome of the inquiry, and also why he has not been questioned by the FCC until today?
I believe he has been questioned, Madam Speaker.
And if he has been questioned, why has he not resigned from his position as chairperson?
Now it's a new novel system. If I ask you questions, you have to resign. So if I ask you questions, tomorrow they ask you, you have to resign?
Madame la Présidente. Now, Madam Speaker, two of the lawyers of Mr. Emma are close to the government, one of whom is a member of this House, and the other one has recently been appointed as chairperson of SIL. Does the Honourable Prime Minister find this ethical?
I didn't hear the last bit of the question.
Whether you find it ethical for two of the lawyers of
Close to government.
close to
One
government.
is a member of parliament.
Whether
and
lawyers.
You cannot.
Can you
there's-
decide on the
That's a
ethics?
stupid question.
Of course.
Maybe I can help.
Les gens te disent dans le sens, t'as oublié.
It's not a stupid.
Maybe I can help.
Explique-toi.
Yeah.
Donc à moi de ça.
Maybe I can help. You have an ethics for the members of the bar.
Yeah.
So, are you asking the Prime Minister to decide?
No, my question
On-
is simple.
Yes.
Does he find this ethical?
Yeah, that's it.
Yes or no?
There's an ethics of the bar which is applicable.
Probably, the Honourable Leader of the question, I don't blame him, he probably doesn't know what is the cab rule, that a barrister cannot refuse to present somebody.
S'il te plaît, Armand.
Let me come back, Madam Speaker, to the report which was tabled on the 28th October. The approval of AML was obtained almost immediately according to the report. May we know who gave the clearance at the level of AML? Is it the CEO of that company?
No, he's getting confused now. I think you should go and read the report back.
As usual.
It's the Civil Aviation Department which eventually gives that go-ahead.
Yeah, that I know.
Yes?
But they need also the approval of AML.
Au super.
It's
Moi-même,
not-
je suis perdu,
It
là.
doesn't work like this. Eventually, they do the inquiry, they look
Non, mais
at
tant mieux.
parking, and then eventually in fact, it's the deputy of the civil aviation which, but he didn't do it on his own. He checked with all the departments. He looked at they looked at whether these people were in any way being looked for in any country. They did all these checks. There was nothing. Then he allowed.
Yeah, that I do understand, Madam Speaker. My question is, who at the level of the AML gave that clearance? Is it the CEO or somebody else?
I just explained it is not the AML who gives the clearance. It's the director or the assistant director of the civil aviation who eventually does.
AML, c'est for parking purposes.
Yeah,
Read
that
the
I know
law.
for parking
Read the
purposes.
law.
Can the Honourable Prime Minister confirm if AML currently has a board of directors? And if not, why not?
It has a board at the moment, but we are re-looking at everything, the whole area.
DPM est en colère. Une année, AML n'a pas de board.
Madam
Speaker.
Speaker.
Madam Speaker, the report mentions that the Secretary for Home Affairs gave the clearance at 0013 a.m. However, the same report mentions that an MRA official was apprised of the landing of the jet verbally by a representative of Jet Prime Limited at 23:50 p.m. That is 25 minutes before obtaining the clearance from the Secretary for Home Affairs. How is it possible for them to know that the clearance would be granted?
I can't understand what the Honourable Leader of the Opposition is saying. In fact, I find it very confusing what he's saying.
I'm not confusing it.
The Home Affairs, Secretary for Home Affairs, she deals with the PIO. And they look at the lists of passengers, they check whether they are being sought in any other country, whether there's anything against them. This is her role. She has nothing to do with the other role that you're suggesting. And then the plane was allowed to land.
Yeah, but my question is, officers from the MRA knew 25 minutes before that permission would be granted for
that is
the
public
plane to
knowledge.
land.
One moment. One
You're
moment.
reading into it.
One
You gotta
moment.
read You got a dangerous imagination, man.
No, I was, well, even I can't speak.
As the Honourable Minister is saying, I don't know where he's getting all these
That's what I'm, that's
imagining.
honourable.
No, once
Yes.
they knew that the aircraft was coming, the MRA was advised to go and have a look. That is what happened.
Prime Minister, you're getting some information.
I put this question for the second time, Madam Speaker. Now, the Honourable Prime Minister confirms that the Secretary for Home Affairs took the decision to authorize the landing of that private jet. Has it been established why the Secretary for Home Affairs did not inform the acting Prime Minister?
Speak, stand up, Prime Minister, stand up.
First of all, I didn't say that. Again, he's saying something which is, I don't know,
We
I'm
can't hear
just
the
saying
Prime
it.
Minister.
She doesn't give the authorization. It's not her job to give authorization. Yeah, it is unfortunate that the Deputy Acting Prime Minister at the time was not told at the time. The other day you asked a question, I get a chance to correct it. I said the guy was lying. In fact, the question was wrongly put. He was told the next day, but not at the time.
Yes, but then do we know why he was not informed? He was the acting Prime Minister.
Peut-on respecter vos
Well,
sommeils,
well,
le
they-
sommeil du juste?
There's an inquiry going on, but from what I understand, when they checked everything was in order, they didn't find the reason. I think it should have been informed.
Tu connais
personally.
qui mauvais faire.
Yes.
Moi aussi.
The Honourable Prime Minister keeps mentioning that everything was pre-planned. Is he now in a position to inform the House who was the mastermind?
Yeah,
That's a very tall
It is-
order.
it is
Very
obvious. It is obvious that it is pre-planned. If the Honourable Leader of the Opposition seems to
No.
he seems to know more than I do. But you must remember, I did say it. First of all, they asked the permission to come to Mauritius for medical reasons.
Yes.
Then it was for tourism.
Petrol. Lack of
There was
petrol.
something else, I can't remember what it was.
Pierre les Anges.
Yeah. Finally, they said there was no fuel. So it's obviously pre-planned. And the jet left before any permission was given.
It was not they who gave those reasons for landing. It was Jet Prime Limited who gave those reasons.
Jet Prime was working together with them.
Madam Speaker, it is now established that the private jet left Madagascar without prior authorization from Mauritian authorities. Therefore, will the Honourable Prime Minister agree that those who conspired to allow the jet to come to Mauritius put our airspace in danger?
Your imagination is unbelievable. The stretching of imagination is unbelievable. When eventually the jet said it was running out of fuel, it was allowed to land.
It was never any danger. Anti-patriotic.
My last question, Madam Speaker. One of the passengers was the former Prime Minister of Madagascar. Can the Honourable Prime Minister inform the House, given the circumstances of the landing of the jet, why was he allowed to leave the country the day after landing? Was he interrogated by relevant authorities before leaving?
Tiens, n'a rien contre lui, ça vous gars.
He's talking about the former
Prime Minister.
Prime Minister who was ambassador here. Is he the
No,
one
no,
he's
no,
talking
no.
about? No,
No, the passenger.
the passenger.
Passenger.
Nothing was found against him.
Vous respectez la loi,
We're
nous.
done. Okay. Time is almost up anyway. Thank you very much. Now questions, honourable members. The table has been advised that PQB 1004 will be replied by Dr. the Honourable Prime Minister, time permitting. So I now call on the Honourable Second Member for Belrose 4 Bornes. Honourable Anctil.
Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente. B 960.
Madam Speaker, the government remains deeply committed to protecting our citizens against emerging forms of crime, including those committed in the digital space. As information and communication technologies continue to evolve at an exponential pace, cyber threats have become increasingly complex, sophisticated, and transnational. In this context, the Mauritius Police Force has set up in 2006 a cybercrime unit under the Central Criminal Investigation Department to detect, investigate, and prosecute cyber-related criminal offences. As regards Part A of the question, I'm informed by the Commissioner of Police that on the 7th of November 2025, the cybercrime unit is headed by an Assistant Superintendent of Police and comprises 14 other police officers of different ranks, namely another Assistant Superintendent of Police, 1 woman chief inspector, 1 police inspector, 6 police sergeants, 1 woman police sergeant, and 4 police constables. I'm further informed, Madam Speaker, that the cybercrime-related cases are reported either at police stations or directly at the central CID. They are meant to refer the cases which are complex in nature and which require specialized technical expertise to the cybercrime unit for in-depth investigation. Furthermore, the police collaborates closely with the CERT-MU, which is under the aegis of the Ministry of Information Technology, Communication and Innovation. The CERT-MU manages the Mauritian Cybercrime Online Reporting System, MOCOS, which is a national centralized cyber incident reporting system that allows citizens and organizations to report cyber incidents, cybercrime online. Complaints made through MOCOS and which disclose any criminal offense are also referred to the cybercrime unit for investigation. The complainants of such cases are advised to make formal declarations to the police, and inquiries are then initiated on the basis of the declaration. Notwithstanding reported cases, the cybercrime unit may also initiate an investigation proprio motu into cases detected during cyber patrols affected by the unit. Regard to Part B of the question, I'm informed that from January 2023 to the 7th of November 2025, a total of 837 cases, including those from MOCOS, have been referred to the cybercrime unit for investigation. During the course of the inquiries, 1,038 statements have been recorded from complainants, witnesses, as well as suspects, and 120 persons have been arrested. Out of the 837 cases, 167 of them have been filed for various reasons, including insufficient evidence for prosecution and accused being untraceable. 4 cases have been filed following advice from the Director of Public Prosecutions. 640 cases are still under inquiry, and 21 cases are waiting advice from the Director of Public Prosecutions. 5 cases have been lodged before the courts. So far, Madam Speaker, it is telling that no conviction has been secured. This is why, Madam Speaker, during my recent state visit to the Republic of India, I solicited the assistance of India. Further to this, a team for the Maharashtra Cyber Department of the Government of Maharashtra came to Mauritius and participated in a workshop organized by the Ministry of Information Technology, Communication and Innovation from the 30th of October to the 5th of November 2025 on strengthening our national capabilities in cybersecurity and cybercrime prevention. I had a meeting with them together with the Minister of Information Technology, Communication and Innovation. We are moving forward for full collaboration with local experts to ensure that those people who post unwarranted posts are detected and brought to justice. This collaboration between Mauritius and Maharashtra will enhance knowledge exchange, capacity building of our law enforcement agencies, and development of sustainable solutions tailored to the Mauritian context for restructuring of the existing processes. These are concrete examples of the government's will to constantly improve. As an example, another example, and we are grateful to India for again helping Mauritius in this.
Thank you. Yes. Supplementary question.
Choquant. Aucune condamnation. D'un côté, on incite les victimes à parler, mais de l'autre côté, on laisse les agresseurs impunis. Grave dysfonctionnement. Le Premier ministre peut-il indiquer à la Chambre s'il trouve acceptable que la Cybercrime Unit refuse d'enregistrer une deuxième déclaration d'une victime sous prétexte qu'une première a déjà été déposée? Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente.
I don't know if I didn't know about if it says the first has been deposited. If there was something additional, I don't know whether there was something additional, then they should have.
Yes.
Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente. À 17 ans, une élève de SI s'est donné la mort paix à son âme, après la diffusion de photos intimes d'elle sur les réseaux. Le Premier ministre peut-il indiquer à la Chambre s'il envisage la mise en place d'un Cyber Patrol Unit opérationnel 24 heures sur 24, capable de bloquer immédiatement toute diffusion de photos ou de propos diffamatoires sur les réseaux afin de protéger efficacement les victimes de cyberviolence. Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente.
In fact, I should also add that there were other two persons, I don't want to name names or give details, who were exactly in that position, who fortunately the police managed to act before anybody else committed suicide or whatever. They're getting support, psychological support as well. However, as I said earlier on, this is why I said it, that it is telling that no conviction has been secured, because it's not working as it should. This is why I've asked for the Indian government to help. They have a very, very able team. They suggested Maharashtra, and this is what we're doing.
Thank you. Last, yes, we have to move
S'il
on.
vous plaît, le sujet est trop pressant.
Of course.
J'ai confiance que l'actuel Premier ministre prendra les mesures nécessaires pour mettre fin à l'impunité et protéger les victimes de cyberviolence. D'ailleurs, vous êtes le seul à pouvoir le faire. Would the Prime Minister inform the House what concrete measures are currently in place to support victims of cybercrime during the investigation process? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I've been told that there are measures that are taken by the police first, and then they have a team which go to the family and give support, including psychological support, to make sure that nobody else goes into that situation.
The team from the cybercrime unit. Yes?
And also psychologists.
Yes, very, very interesting. Honourable Member for Beaubassin.
B961.
Sorry, for Portrice North Montagnon. Mr. Duval, yes.
Madam Speaker, protection from domestic violence is governed under the Protection from Domestic Violence Act, which falls under the purview of the Ministry of Gender, Equality and Family Welfare. Cases of domestic violence may be reported to the police directly or to the family support services of the Ministry of Gender, Equality and Family Welfare, which thereafter refers the cases to the police. In regards to Part A and B of the questions, I'm informed by the Commissioner of Police that since November 2024 to the 5th of November 2025, a total of 4,127 cases of domestic violence have been reported to the police for inquiry, out of which 3,042 cases involved physical violence. Following inquiry into these cases, 2,103 persons have been charged with offences in breach of the Protection from Domestic Violence Act. In regard to Part C of the question, the Protection from the Domestic Violence Act make provisions for different types of restraining orders, namely protection orders, occupation orders, tenancy orders, and ancillary orders. These orders are issued by the relevant district courts upon application made by the victims after a hearing is held. Madam Speaker, since November 2024 to the 5th of November 2025, a total of 970 interim protection orders have been issued by the relevant district courts to 131 males and 839 females. An interim protection order is issued by the court where there is a serious risk of harm being caused by the aggrieved spouse and even before the respondent spouse is heard. An interim protection order, unless the court directs otherwise, remains in force until such time as the court makes a final pronouncement on the application of the protection order. After hearing the aggrieved spouse and the respondent's spouse, the court may convert the interim protection order into a final protection order, which shall remain in force for such a period not exceeding 24 months as the court may specify. Upon application, the district court may also issue a protection order after hearing the parties. For the period of from November 2024 to the 5th of November 2025, I'm informed that a total of 454 protection orders have been issued by the relevant district courts under the Protection from Violence Act, out of which 54 protection orders have been granted to male victims and 400 to female victims. As regards occupation, tenancy, and ancillary orders, I'm informed that no applications for such orders have been received by the police. Madam Speaker, I wish to reassure the House that this government will adopt a zero-tolerance policy and a victim-oriented approach to domestic abuse. To this effect, with a view to deterring domestic violence, the Ministry of Gender Equality and Family Welfare is presently working on a new domestic abuse bill to replace the existing Protection from Domestic Violence Act to strengthen the support for victims. Furthermore, the Brigade pour la Protection de la Famille of the Mauritius Police Force provides assistance to children and women victims of violence and abuse who solicit police help. The Brigade also works together with the Family Support Services of the Ministry of Gender Equality and Family Welfare to deal with cases related to gender-based violence. Furthermore, the Brigade pour la Protection de la Famille and the Ministry of Gender Equality and Family Welfare jointly carry out regular sensitization campaigns throughout the island to raise public awareness and understanding on domestic violence. These awareness campaigns are being delivered in workplaces, in the private and public schools, as well as community centers, in non-governmental organizations, amongst others. Talks are also held on TV and radio programs. These are essential components of what we are doing.
Yes?
Thank you.
Supplementary?
Yes, Madam Speaker, the figures are alarming. In fact, the official figures with regards to domestic violence, physical violence on women, there has been an increasing trend. And this is confirmed now. 73% of the cases reported, according to your figures given, concern physical violence. I would like to know how many out of which committed against women, if the Prime Minister has the answer, perpetrated against women.
The data.
I thought I had given
Yes.
the figures, but
It's given.
I'll look for it.
No?
I had given the figures, but you want to know exactly about against women. Okay.
It doesn't matter. The point being, the Honourable Prime Minister, we realize that there is an issue, an alarming increasing trend. Since 2022 to date, the trend is increasing. I wanted to ask the Prime Minister, given that only 15% of the figures he's giving us, 15% of the domestic physical violence cases result in a protection order. So from 3,042, only 454 for this year has resulted in a protection order. And this is les lacunes de la loi. It is too timely, too complicated, and people are dissuaded at the level of the police station itself from going forward. The new law, which was prepared since 2023, is still being awaited. Will the Prime Minister now, having heard those figures, make it his mission to have that new law passed and enacted as soon as possible? Time is being wasted on this.
I just said that the Honourable Minister for Gender is looking at all the whole. They are going to bring new corrections to that. That's what I said earlier.
Okay, carry on and then I'll say a word.
Madam Speaker, may I ask the Prime Minister, will he see to it at the level of the police stations that there is, firstly, the proper staffing as is required, female officers being present to help put those complainants at ease, and secondly, that they are given the proper training and the proper incentives, the police officers, so that they take care of those victims, even when it seems repeated complaints, etc., which are too often turned away. So will he see to it that this is a priority given the alarming trend?
I should remind the Honourable Member, I don't want to do political scoring, but for 10 years, everything was allowed like this. Everything. We have taken a country on un pays en décomposition.
It's getting worse.
Yeah, but for 10 years, this is the result. This is what we have inherited. The Honourable Minister is doing her best, believe me. But we have inherited this situation. So we are, 2023, just said. I did say that the Ministry of Gender and Equality and Family, they are presently working on a new domestic abuse bill, precisely because they want to strengthen the support for victims. This is what is being done.
May I have privilege of speaker, please? May I just say a few words, because both members who've spoken today have spoken about violence. And in this first case was violence against that young girl, and both members are members of the Gender Caucus. I just want to tell everybody, you will be receiving very soon the program of what the Gender Caucus itself, which means the National Assembly, Prime Minister knows a bit about it, and the Minister as well. We're organizing with the United Nations and UNDP a big event between the 25th of November, which is the date of the elimination of violence against gender-based violence, and the 10th of December, which is Human Rights Day. We are having a big event where I would like all of you to come with your friends, because it's going to touch on all these issues of sensitization, because we have to keep on sensitizing on the issue of violence, unfortunately. So I'm telling you now, I'm very proud that 2 members of the Gender Caucus have spoken this morning. Thank you. Next, I am calling on Honourable Lekiram.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. B962, please.
I'm Speaker, informed that 31 advisors were employed by the Prime Minister's office over the period 2015 to November 2024. These include 4 special advisors, 11 senior advisors, and 16 advisors. I wish to point out that under the former government, there was actually a carefully crafted ploy to boost up the income of advisors by allowing them to sit on numerous boards. Very often, these advisors were earning revenues from these boards, which were higher than the initial salary. Madam Speaker, let me make it clear. My government is committed to ending this discretionary and arbitrary practice of the past, where public funds were allocated based on personal wishes or political convenience. We believe that the remuneration of advisors should not be left to the whims of whoever comes into power. Instead, it should be governed by clear, transparent, and fair principles. In this endeavor, my government has decided, I mentioned it last time, to rationalize the categories of advisors. In regard to the information requested by the Honourable Member, I'm tabling a list of former advisors, which includes their salary packages and the boards and committees on which they equally served during the period 2015 to November 2024. I wish also to say that this is very long. If I went through it, it will be. Huh? But I can tell you, for example, I'll give you a free example. Mr. Mantua, special advisor to the Prime Minister. He got a salary of 8.1 million rupees as advisor, special advisor. But he sat on 14 boards and 7 committees additionally. And he got for that 15 million rupees from January 2015 to November 2024, which makes you a total of 23.1 million rupees. And these people want to come back to power. Guess why? Another one, Mr. Narayan Kumar Bala, special advisor to the Prime Minister. 3.5 million from November 2023 to November 2024. But he sat on 9 boards and he received 7.5 million rupees from February 2023 to November 2024, which makes you a total of 11 million rupees. Yeah. Mr. Kridu Bikari, senior advisor, 7.6 million rupees. And then he sat on 6 boards and 3 committees, which makes you a total of 23.6 million rupees. He got even more than Mr. Mantua, who got 23.1. Yeah. Mrs. Sarah Rawat Karimji, senior advisor, 8.3 million rupees, plus 6 boards and 2 committees, but she received 9 million rupees. Total 17.3 million rupees. You should have, instead of being deputy speaker, you should have gone for the job. Mr. Ken Oyon, senior advisor.
Honourable members, I can't hear the Prime Minister.
3.8 million as senior advisor, plus he sat on 7 boards and 4 committees. For this, he got 11.3 million. In other words, 15.1 million rupees. This is the kind of abuse the MSM did. This is the kind of abuse. And they want to come back to the government. They have already destroyed this country. They want to re-destroy what we're trying to build now. I must inform the House that the list of advisors includes a particular advisor whose specialty, you know what was it? Oja. You know what means Oja. He was an Oja, making prayers, supposedly prayers. And he got a monthly salary of 32,350 rupees. But I will circulate the rest.
Yes, you're done. You're okay. All right. Second member for Gambé Poudre-d'Or, Honourable Bijan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. B963, please.
Madam Speaker, I'm informed by the Director General of the Mauritius Broadcasting Corporation that in 2015, Mr. Kavish Pultu was employed as a journalist reporter d'image on a permanent and pensionable basis at the embassy, and the post was restyled to that of news editor and senior news editor in 2017. Mr. Pultu was then drawing a monthly salary of 53,200 rupees, along with a monthly allowance amounting to 13,960 rupees. In his capacity as news editor, senior news editor, Mr. Pultu accompanied the then Prime Minister on 2 overseas missions to New York and India in 2017 and 2019, respectively. The total cost of these 2 missions, including the air tickets and per diem, amounted to 309,376.84. These were met by the MBC. On the 18th of February 2020, Mr. Pultu was offered employment on a contractual basis for a period of 1 year as advisor on information matters by the Prime Minister's office and was posted at the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Subsequently, he was granted leave without pay by the embassy. His contract as advisor on information matters was renewed on the 20th of February 2021 for the further period of 1 year under the same terms and conditions. During his tenure as advisor on information matters, Mr. Pultu was drawing a monthly salary of 59,700 rupees and allowances to the tune of 15,365. However, on the 23rd of April 2021, he was offered employment as senior advisor on policy and communication matters by the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The House may wish to note that his contract of employment was backdated to the 20th of February 2021, and he was offered a salary, including allowances, of 109,630 rupees. On renewal of his contract, that is on the 20th of February 2022, his salary, inclusive of allowances, was then capped to 119,065 rupees, which was almost twice his initial salary as advisor on information matters. I'm further informed, Madam Speaker, that on the 1st of July 2022, Mr. Pultu was appointed as Director, Information Services on a contractual basis for a period of 1 year. In this capacity, he was drawing a monthly salary of 100,750 rupees, along with allowances of 44,930 rupees. That is a total, on a monthly basis, a total of 145,630 rupees. His contract as Director of Information Services was renewed for a period of 1 year with effect on the 1st of July 2023. Further, in his capacity as Director of Information Services and by virtue of Section 61C of the Mauritius Broadcasting Corporation Act, Mr. Pultu was also appointed as member of the Embassy Board from the 7th of July 2022 to March 2024. During his tenure on the Embassy Board, Mr. Pultu also served on the following 3 subcommittees. You see the ploy of appointing them and then putting them on different committees and boards. He was also on 3 subcommittees: Programs Committee, Audit and Risk Management Committee, and Corporate Governance Committee. He was paid a total of 312,000 rupees for serving on the 3 subcommittees. I'm also informed that on the 12th of February 2024, Mr. Pultu resigned as Director of Information Services following his appointment as Senior Advisor on Communication and Strategic Matters in the Prime Minister's Office. In this capacity, he drew a monthly salary of 128,875 rupees and allowances amounting to 22,470. The contract of Mr. Pultu as Senior Advisor on Communication and Strategic Matters was terminated on the 15th of November 2024. I'm informed, Madam Speaker, that on the 18th of November 2024, Mr. Pultu resumed duty at the embassy and proceeded on leave as from the 19th of November 2024. He subsequently submitted his resignation to the embassy with effect from the 21st of January 2025. Concerning missions attended by Mr. Pultu from 2015 to 2024, the latter proceeded on 10 overseas missions, out of which accompanied the former Prime Minister on 8 occasions. The 10 missions were at the cost of 1,359,997 rupees and 57 cents. It is worth highlighting that one of these missions, which was undertaken in May 2024, was purportedly an urgent security mission, whereby Mr. Pultu accompanied the former acting director of the counter-terrorism unit, Mr. Liram Dial. I'm tabling the additional information sought by the honourable member, and I remind them that inquiries are ongoing.
Yes. Did you have a supplementary? That would be 1 minute left, okay?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Given the staggering amount revealed in the reply, will the Honourable Prime Minister inform the House whether all these appointments and every rupee is spent was in strict compliance with government policies at that time they were made and incurred? If not, will there be inquiry on it? Thank you.
The then government decided what they will do. They lack your face. They give you anything? Anything goes.
Okay, time is up. Now, honourable members, the table has been advised that the following PQs have been withdrawn: B970, 977, 976, 968, 973, 983, and 1004. Now, questions to honourable ministers. We've got less than half an hour to go before lunch. Honourable First Member for Rodrigue, Ms. Colette.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. B978, please.
Madame la Présidente, la CEB m'informe que la capacité de production d'électricité de Rodrigue est suffisante pour répondre aux besoins énergétiques des clients résidentiels, commerciaux, agricoles et industriels. La demande de puissance maximale jamais enregistrée à Rodrigue est de 9,53 MW, atteint le 17 mars 2025 à 18h30. La capacité effective des centrales thermiques de Rodrigue s'élève à 11,4 MW. La capacité effective totale de toutes les unités de production, y compris les parcs photovoltaïques et éoliens, atteint 13,7 MW. Il convient de noter qu'un système de stockage d'énergie, batterie, baisse d'une capacité de 1,5 MW peut également être utilisé pour répondre à la demande hors des pics de consommation. En ce qui concerne la partie A de la question, je souhaite informer la Chambre que pour améliorer l'infrastructure énergétique et assurer la fiabilité de l'approvisionnement dans tous les secteurs à Rodrigue, plusieurs projets clés ont été identifiés par la CEB et sont en cours de réalisation. 1. Installation de 2 systèmes de stockage de batteries. 2 batteries pour répondre à la pointe de consommation d'une puissance nominale de 1 à 2 MW chacun à Pointe-Monnier et à Grenade d'ici fin 2026. Ces batteries baissent, outre la satisfaction de la demande lors des pics de consommation, amélioreront également la stabilité du réseau et permettront une intégration accrue des énergies renouvelables. L'appel d'offres a déjà été lancé en août 2025 et la date de clôture est prévue pour le 12 novembre 2020, donc demain. 2. Une nouvelle centrale thermique d'une capacité de 1,9 MW à 2,5 MW sera installée à Pointe-Monnier d'ici le dernier trimestre de 2027. L'appel d'offres pour ce projet est actuellement en cours d'examen au CPB. 3. Extension de la centrale photovoltaïque de Grenade avec une centrale photovoltaïque supplémentaire de 1 MW d'ici fin 2027. La reconversion du parc éolien de Trèfle, dont les éoliennes sont obsolètes et coûteuses à exploiter, en une centrale photovoltaïque de 500 kW, couplée à un système de stockage de batteries d'au moins 1 MW. Donc tous les projets que nous avons jusqu'ici, que ce soit à l'île Maurice ou à Rodrigue, ce sera couplé de batteries dorénavant. 5. Encourager et soutenir le déploiement des énergies renouvelables pour les particuliers bénéficiant des différents programmes SSDG pour les petits, MSDG moyens, dont certains sont entièrement financés par la CUB. Les programmes SSDG et MSDG seront modernisés grâce, encore une fois, à l'intégration de systèmes de stockage d'énergie par batterie, BESS, afin de leur permettre de réduire leur consommation d'énergie sur le réseau pendant les périodes de pointe. 6. Évaluation des demandes reçues dans le cadre du programme agrivoltaïque. Donc, ici à Maurice, agrivoltaïque et aussi à Rodrigue. Madame la Présidente, en ce qui concerne le point B de la question, je tiens à informer l'Assemblée que, s'agissant des énergies renouvelables, l'Assemblée régionale de Rodrigue, ARR, a collaboré avec mon ministère, le CEB, Marina, IMO, à l'élaboration de la feuille de route Rodrigue-Île Verte. Dans le cadre de la mise en œuvre de cette feuille de route, j'ai été informé que la CUB, avec le soutien financier d'organismes de financement internationaux, a achevé l'installation de quelques 260 kits photovoltaïques représentant une puissance produite de 382 kW. En outre, la CUB a fourni une assistante technique à la RRA pour la mise en place de 2 mini-fermes solaires à Rodrigue. J'ai été voir ces mini-fermes, donc une mini-centrale solaire de 100 kW au village de Rivière-Coco et une mini-centrale aussi au village de Terre-Rouge. Les 2 centrales photovoltaïques sont exploitées et entretenues par la CUB dans le cadre des accords de raccordement conclus avec l'Assemblée régionale.
Oui, Ms. Colette, you're okay? Okay. Next question.
Honorable First Member for Piton, Rivière-du-Rempart, Dr. Prayag.
Thank you. B979.
Madam Speaker, I am informed by the NLTA that an island-wide survey was carried out in 2022 in hotels in order to assess the adequacy of existing taxi license services where licenses have been already granted, and also the need for taxis at hotels where licenses have not yet been granted. According to that survey, 1,779 taxis have been licensed to operate from 67 hotels, while 23 hotels do not have taxis specifically licensed thereon. Madam Speaker, I am given to understand that some of these hotels opted not to have taxis licensed for their hotels on the premise of limited space near their compounds to accommodate taxis, or allegedly as they perceived that there was a lack of need for taxi services. Taxi drivers are therefore deprived of a source of income. In spite of that perception, it would appear that these hotels are availing, on the other hand, of alternative mode transport means, such as contract cars, contract buses, and outside-based taxis to meet the daily needs of their clients for transfer services and excursions. Transport is an important support service to the tourist industry, and no hotel management can possibly claim that there is no need for taxis at their hotel space. The underlying reason for not showing interest in having taxis licensed for their hotels is an easy guess. And all-inclusive packages are an important aspect of marketing strategy in the tourism sector. Destination management companies and inbound tourist operators resort to that strategy, and transfers as well as excursions are included as part of their holiday package offered. It is therefore perceived that taxis do not fit in those formulas, thereby leading to some sort of vertical integration of the system that many stakeholders have been complaining about over many years. I've spoken to my colleague, the Minister of Tourism, Honorable Richard Duval, and he told me that he will look into the matter. Madam Speaker, the number of tourists visiting our island is on the rise. Over 1 million tourist arrivals have been recorded between January and September this year, and the tourist peak period is yet to come. Against this backdrop, my ministry has requested the NLTA to carry out a fresh survey of the 23 hotel sites I referred to earlier, for the purpose of determining the need to issue taxi licenses at these hotels. The NLTO has also been instructed, in cases where lack of space on hotel premises is put forward as an argument for not having specifically licensed taxis, to consider the availability of alternative sites outside the hotels concerned for use, as taxi stand is already common at many hotels. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Doctor, you're okay? Okay, next question. Dr. Tanu, second member for Quartier Militiamoka.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question 980, please.
Madame la Présidente, je remercie la députée pour sa question et sa proposition d'amélioration de l'approvisionnement en eau dans la circonscription numéro 8. J'ai d'ailleurs, Madame la Présidente, présidé une réunion avec les députés de la circonscription, le porte-parole des habitants et les représentants de la CWA le 21 octobre, au cours de laquelle nous avons discuté de certains points précis. Concernant le lac Valeta, la CWA m'informe que cette source d'eau avait été identifiée comme source d'approvisionnement supplémentaire dans la région. Dans ce contexte, une étude de faisabilité a été menée, au cours de laquelle des échantillons d'eau brute ont été analysés par le laboratoire de la qualité de l'eau de la CWA le 6 novembre 2025. Madame la Présidente, malheureusement, les résultats de l'analyse ont indiqué que même après filtration et traitement, la coloration et la présence de micro-organismes dans l'eau brute dépassaient largement les limites acceptables. De plus, les résultats des analyses chimiques et biologiques n'ont pas été concluants. Il a donc été conclu que le lac de la Valeta n'est pas adapté à l'approvisionnement en eau potable et aucun projet n'a été entrepris à cet égard. Madame la Présidente, il convient d'ajouter que la Central Water Authority prélève déjà l'eau de la rivière Valeta, située en amont du lac de la Valeta. Un fil de pression CPF d'une capacité de 1500 m3 par jour a été installé. Comme je l'ai indiqué dans ma réponse au PQ 880 du député de l'honorable membre, des sites potentiels pour le forage des puits ont été identifiés à Dagotière, l'Espérance, Quartier Militaire, Alma, pour augmenter la production d'eau dans ces régions. Une étude géophysique sera réalisée en premier lieu. Merci.
Yes, bien. Vous êtes satisfaite?
I'd have one more supplementary.
Yeah.
May I kindly request that we have water at least 4 hours per day at adequate pressure to ensure that we uphold the access to water as a human right? Thank you.
Thank you, yes. Monsieur le ministre?
Oui, je partage l'avis de l'honorable membre. Je dois expliquer aux membres de l'Assemblée nationale quel est le souci que nous avons en ce qui concerne l'heure de qu'on donne de l'eau et la pression. Vous savez, nous avons des tuyaux, nous avons des pipelines à l'île Maurice qui datent de plus de 50 ans. Ce sont des tuyaux qui sont en amiante. Ce sont des tuyaux qui est rempli de fuites, des vieux tuyaux. Ceci dit, quand nous augmentons la pression, bien souvent je reçois pas mal de questions des membres de l'Assemblée nationale concernant la pression. Il faut augmenter la pression pour que certaines personnes puissent avoir de l'eau. Notre problème à nous, c'est que quand nous augmentons, quand je demande à la CWA d'essayer de voir comment on peut augmenter la pression, les tuyaux éclatent.
Voilà.
Parce que ce sont des vieux tuyaux. Il nous faut commencer peut-être par là. Changer les tuyaux. Malheureusement, 700 millions de roupies a été dans le temps utilisé pour changer les tuyaux, mais absolument rien n'a été fait. Ceci dit, si nous fermons la pression, que je peux comprendre, si nous fermons la pression, nous baissons la pression pour éviter les fuites un peu partout dans le pays, certaines personnes en hauteur ne vont pas recevoir l'eau. Ceux qui sont tout près, parce que nous donnons l'eau par gravité. Par gravité. Nous attendons que les réservoirs se remplissent, les réservoirs de service se remplissent pour pouvoir alimenter la région. Et quand nous alimentons la région, ceux qui sont le plus rapprochés de nos réservoirs reçoivent l'eau, mais ceux qui sont en hauteur, comme nous avons longuement discuté de cela pour la circonscription numéro 8, et ça s'applique un peu partout, c'est que ceux qui sont un peu plus retirés, un peu plus loin, en hauteur, qui habitent un peu en hauteur, ils sont dans la difficulté. Donc voilà un peu notre souci.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Ministre. Honorable Bichuk.
Yes, Madam Speaker, B981, please.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm informed that construction of 507 social housing units is currently being undertaken in constituency number 9. The NHDC is constructing 45 housing units at Katkoko and 72 housing units at Koitier. The project, including on-site and off-site works at Katkoko, is expected to be completed by the end of this year, while the project at Koitier would be completed in January 2026. Conversely, the NSLD is constructing 178 housing units at Koitier and 212 housing units at Katkoko. And the expected completion dates are the 30th of November 2025 and the 31st of July 2026. However,
Take your breath.
The off-site works, it's a private matter that we've shared with the DPM. However, the off-site works at Koitier, comprising mainly road and drain works, would be completed in January 2026, while off-site drain works at Katkoko are expected to be completed in December 2026. I'd like to add here, with regards to this date of December 2026, that the NSLD had asked that geotechnical investigations be carried out at Katkoko by Water Research Company Limited in July 2022 in order to determine its suitability for construction prior to acquisition of the plot of land. Core holes were undertaken at depths of 7 meters to 15 meters. Did not indicate the presence of cavities. The project management consultant, a company called Vias Consulting Engineer, confirmed the suitability of the site for construction of housing units through a letter dated the 18th of November 2022. I just wanted to explain this is how they worked. However, the project is encountering serious delays due to presence of extensive cavities that certain people thought did not exist. And even though there were geotechnical reports, the report said there were no cavities. Cavities exist, bel et bien. So, depending on the outcome of now the investigations and redesigning of the master plan, a redesign may be required. Construction of all housing units and associated on-site infrastructure, including off-site drainage works, which are essential to render the site flood resilient, are expected to be completed, as I said, 31st of December 2026. So I hope that the Honourable Member, Madam Speaker, does realise that we are here to correct the mess of the previous government. And literally, when we say they put us in a hole, cavities are there. Thank you.
Monsieur Bichuk, ça va? I have maybe one more question we can do before lunch. Honourable Third Member for Port Louis North, Ms. Kazan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. PQB 982, please.
Madam Speaker, I'm informed that the Land Drainage Authority entrusted this project to the Drain Infrastructure Construction Limited on 6 January 2025 for implementation. The proposed project was initially designed by NDU's consultant, Benchmark Consulting Engineers Limited. A sum of 120 million has been earmarked under the previous National Flood Management Program. Tenders were thereafter launched by the DICL on 21st February 2025 for the construction of flood wall and rock revetment at Moselma Ramlagan, Vallée des Prêtres. However, the bidding exercise proved unsuccessful as the bids received were not responsive. Madam Speaker, in parallel, based on the recommendation of the project consultant, and in order to provide the necessary technical foundation for the project, DICL awarded a contract for a geotechnical investigation of the region. The geotechnical investigation was completed in May 2025, following which it was reviewed by the supervising consultant Lux Consult Mauritius Limited. Madam Speaker, based on the advice of the consultant, the DICL is now pursuing the project in a phased manner. The first phase will consist of the construction of the reinforced concrete flood wall along the residential boundary of Moselma Ramlagan, instead of the simultaneous construction of both the flood wall and rock revetment as originally envisaged. The revised design and cost estimate are expected to be finalized in 1 month. The DICL will then submit the updated project proposal for financial clearance. Bid is expected to be launched by December 2025. Madam Speaker, I am further informed that the DICL has also embarked on the procedures for land acquisition required for the project. 19 plots of land are concerned, of which 18 belong to private owners and 1 is state land. To date, 12 private landowners have already conveyed their agreement, and the memoranda of survey are being prepared. Discussions are ongoing with the remaining 7 landowners to secure their consent. Madam Speaker, regarding the issue of rock burns, I wish to inform the House that this proposal has recently been put forward by the Land Drainage Authority in a letter dated 16 September 2025 as a palliative measure pending the construction of the flood walls. This proposal was not part of the original project design, and no detailed drawings or design parameters are yet available. I'm informed that properly engineered rock burns entail significant time and financial implications. As such, this proposal is being examined for possible integration in the permanent works to be implemented by DICL. Madam Speaker, I'm further informed that on 1st September 2025, the LDA has recommended to the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Center to formulate an evacuation plan, prepare safety protocols, and consider the relocation of 2 houses situated in the floodplain in case of force majeure. Madam Speaker, I'm also informed that the Municipal City Council of Port-Louis awarded a contract on 10 June 2025 for the cleaning and desilting of River Latanier, of a stretch of some 8.7 kilometers extending from Upper Vallée des Prêtres near Ali Lane to its outlet at Rochebois. These works, which included the region of Moselma Ramlagan, were undertaken between 2nd July and 15 September 2025 and have already been completed. Madam Speaker, I wish to reassure the Honourable Member and the House that Government remains fully committed to addressing the flooding risk at Moselma Ramlagan. While immediate relief has already been provided through the cleaning and desilting works undertaken by the Municipal Council, the permanent solution is being actively pursued through DICL with the close support of the National Development Unit, Ministry of Finance, and the Land Drainage Authority.
Are you happy, Mr. Kazian? Yes. We'll do a last question. Dr. Prayat, please. There's one which has been...
B98.
Yeah.
4, please.
I need 4, that's it. Yes. Monsieur le ministre.
Je pensais qu'on allait déjeuner, après j'allais
Mais
répondre,
non.
mais comme vous voulez.
Nous prenons de l'eau avant de déjeuner.
Oui, ok, on prendra un verre d'eau. Madame la Présidente, la CW m'informe que 6 camions citernes sont normalement affectés à la zone d'approvisionnement en eau au nord afin d'assurer la distribution quotidienne et régulière. Cette distribution concerne notamment les établissements scolaires, la santé, les autres infrastructures publiques et le traitement des plaintes reçues via la ligne d'assistance téléphonique de la CWA. Lorsque la CWA entreprend d'importants travaux de réparation, surtout comme cela s'est passé dans le Nord, dans une région donnée, susceptible de perturber l'approvisionnement en eau, des camions citernes supplémentaires sont déployés depuis d'autres zones. De plus, pendant la saison de stress, la CWA fait appel à des compagnies de transport d'eau privées pour compléter sa propre flotte et répondre aux demandes des usagers. Madame la Présidente, j'ai été informé que la CWA avait mis en service un forage supplémentaire à la station de pompage de Petite Retraite et posé une conduite, un tuyau, pour alimenter les parties supérieures d'Amaury et le réservoir de la plaine des Roches. Actuellement, ce forage fonctionne grâce à un groupe électrogène, un générateur, tandis que la salle des transformateurs existante est en cours de rénovation par la CWA afin d'augmenter la capacité électrique nécessaire à un fonctionnement continu 24 heures sur 24. Suite au renouvellement des tuyaux dans la région d'Amaury l'année dernière, ce forage est désormais exclusivement dédié à l'alimentation du réservoir de la plaine des Roches. De plus, afin de minimiser les pertes d'eau et d'améliorer la fiabilité de l'approvisionnement en eau, la CWA a entrepris le remplacement de l'ancien pipeline en fonte ductile de 250 mm par un pipeline PE-HD entre la station de pompage de Petite Retraite et le réservoir de plaine des Roches sur une distance de 3 km. L'Assemblée pourrait souhaiter noter que les tuyaux posés en surface, vous l'avez vu, je suppose, un peu partout, les tuyaux posés en surface par l'ancienne direction de la CWA et par l'ancien directeur général Prakash Mantora, 23 millions, le Premier ministre avait dit, je crois, 23 millions pour quelques années. Malheureusement, ces tuyaux, il faut bien le dire, ces tuyaux ne sont pas fournis localement en raccord. Les pièces ne sont pas fournies en raccord, on ne peut pas avoir sur le marché local, il faudra importer. Pour mener à bien les travaux, il sera nécessaire d'obtenir l'autorisation de passage de la ADA, des routes locales, des autorités locales, des propriétaires fonciers privés. La fin des travaux est prévue pour mars de l'année prochaine, 2026. Madame la Présidente, la CWA m'informe que le coût total encouru à ce jour pour les travaux de pose de tuyaux s'élève à seulement 10,5 millions. Vous savez pourquoi c'est 10,5 millions? On a coupé un projet de 700 millions de roupies en des petits projets de 10 millions de roupies pour pouvoir donner le contrat à les copains et les copines. Aussi simple que ça. C'est pour ça que c'est 10, parmi il y a le fameux Deoudani, effectivement, 10,5 millions de roupies, représentant l'acquisition des tuyaux, de raccords, des travaux de pose et le transport des tuyaux. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Yes, Dr. Prayal.
Thank you, Minister. Meanwhile, we understand that we have only 9 trucks that are serving water in the north. Meanwhile, given that these trucks serve water to school, public infrastructures and health infrastructures, can we have them to serve households also during the day instead of only in the evenings as it is the case actually?
Short and sweet, Minister.
Oui.
Short and sweet.
Allez, d'accord. Non, je dois rassurer l'honorable membre que nous avons lancé un appel d'offres pour recruter des compagnies privées. Donc nous avons 9 compagnies privées pour fournir des camions citernes. Donc cela sera fait d'ici la semaine prochaine et nous allons allouer 3 à 4 camions citernes pour desservir la région du Nord précisément. Merci.
Thank you, everybody. We're now going to raise for lunch. 1.5 hours. We're back at 2:30. Thank you.
Amerdir Falsing, président de la Fédération des petites et moyennes entreprises, et le docteur Vincent Benoît, ancien ministre des Finances, de l'Éducation et de l'Emploi. L'état des lieux de cette première année de gouvernance, évoquant les réformes économiques, sociales, politiques engagées. Le docteur est revenu sur
etc. Modèle du moins, c'est nous dans le pays parce qu'il y a une taxe intelligente, alors qu'avant il y a une taxe qui s'appelle sales tax. Ça c'était la taxe que M. Béranger tu mettais en 1982. Tu faisais beaucoup d'anomalies, de pression inutile. Et dans une TVA, nous corrige beaucoup de choses.
Et tout à fait autre chose à présent. Transport terrestre, le ministre du Transport aide fait le des avancées ainsi perspectives à venir. Et d'un an après sa prise de fonction, le ministre du Transport, Ousmane Mahomed, fait le bilan de sa première année à la tête de ce invité hier soir du grand journal sur la il est revenu.
Et moi-même, une chance. L'objectif, c'est pas pour pénaliser.
provoquer l'Ukraine. On t'attend. Un as- pays avec dignité et honneur. Surveillance à l'hôpital Victor Avatomang en soins intensifs après. Le transport terrestre, le ministre Osman Mohamed fait le point sur les avancées du secteur ainsi que les perspectives à venir. Et dans le cas international, au moins un mort dans une attaque de drones russes dans l'est de l'Ukraine. Et c'est ici que prend fin ce journal. Merci de l'avoir écouté. Si vous passez à table, très bon appétit à suivre l'actualité sportive. Et le numéro jamais Japon. Restez Madrid. Qui n'a pas joué hier pour le FK Orenburg. Sixième position, on retrouve Van Pavlidis qui suit le but. Sixième. Ayoub. Lui à Vicente au Brésil. Qui but. Greenwood.
météo. Le port Maurice est mis à 11h30, samedi 11 novembre. Je venons du sud pour les prochaines 24 heures. Plateau central. Période nuageuse durant la passagers sur sud. Endroits. Concernant la température, la maximale variera entre 23 et 26 degrés et entre 20. La minimale variera entre 7 et 19 degrés sur le plateau central et entre 21 et 23 degrés sur le littoral. Vent du sud-est d'environ 15 km/h devenant variable durant la nuit. Mer agitée de la dérécif devenant graduellement forte durant la nuit avec des houles du sud-est de l'ordre de 2,50 m. Les sorties en haute mer sont déconseillées à partir de ce soir. Alors marée haute demain 9h51 et 19h19. Marée basse demain 1h30 et 15h33. Le soleil se couchera aujourd'hui à 18h24 pour se lever demain à 5h23.
Broadcasting 24 hours a day. This is Top FM.
Les avis de décès. Pour Daltaman Chotou, Monsieur Daltaman Chotou, âgé de 50 ans, fondamentalement à Manglawati, Caroline Bell, aujourd'hui à 14h, pour se rendre à l'incinérateur de Beauchamp. Et de Madame Valérie.
à l'église Saint-Sauveur de Bambou et de là au cimetière de Saint-Sauveur à Bambou. Monsieur Vélarama, âgé de 64 ans, aussi connu sur le nom de Mouk. Le combat